Hello, Rebecca Kramer here. I am so excited, so very excited to be chatting with you today. Really, really excited to launch. I guess it's called the Hustlers Growth Academy Launchpad. Hustlers Growth Academy Launchpad. So for the next few days, I'm really excited for you to come with me on this journey where I'm going to hopefully provide amazing value to you so that you can understand what you need to do to get your audience buying your products, reaching out to you for service, just so that you can do whatever it takes to get that audience. And for my own self, I have been doing this thing called being an entrepreneur for the last 5 years. 5 years. And it has been a challenge. Of course, it's been a challenge. I mean, you guys are all entrepreneurs, maybe intrapreneurs. You know that there are challenges. You know that there are things that you just don't know. And so for the next few days, I'm going to be here with you. I'm going to teach you. I'm going to show you how you can do the same thing for yourself that I have been able to do for not only for myself, but I've also been able to teach my team members how they can also do what it takes to get clients to drive business. And it's so important for us to be able to, here's the thing. If you can get my knowledge from my head instead of having to figure it out on your own, why wouldn't you? Why wouldn't you? So grab a pen, grab some paper. I'm going to go over some things today that I know that you're going to find huge value. So whether you're an entrepreneur, whether you're a manager, whether you're a business owner, an intrapreneur, someone looking for a job, someone just trying to grow their business, grow their audience, do whatever it takes to, be visible and make sure that you can be found. And not just be found, but be found in the moment that people need you. So my goal from this launchpad, hopefully, is that you're going to be able to learn so many new skills that you didn't have before, but that you're going to be able to actually implement the things that I go through over the next few days so that you can implement them in your business and find success and make some money, because that's the goal, right? We want to make some money. So for today, I'm really, really excited because one thing that I know is a hard thing is figuring out a strategy. Like, what do I do? What should my strategy be? I have no idea. I don't even know where to start. There's so many things that I hear from entrepreneurs. Like I don't, Rebecca, I think I know who my audience is, but it's okay. I can just market to everyone because everybody could use my product. Well, maybe that's correct, but is everybody going to want your product? Is everybody going to feel like you're speaking to them? Not necessarily. So if you can be specific, and I'm just going to, in the chat, hello, good morning. Oh, it's so good to see. It's so good to see you guys. Okay, so the first thing that I wanted to go over, there are some really important things for you to take into consideration when you're trying to decide. First of all, do you have the right product? Do you have the right product? Are you selling the right thing? So here's the thing about that. If you are filling a gap, filling a gap, not this again. Yes, filling a gap. What does filling a gap mean? When you fill a gap, that means that you provide a service that is different and unique to your own self. It means that someone couldn't go and find it somewhere else. Maybe they could, for sure, maybe they could, but not with you. So what is the gap that you're trying to fill? Because when we talk later on about, proving value and all these other things that you should be able to explain to your customers as to why they should purchase for you, you need to figure out what is that gap that you're filling. Because if you're able to, okay, forget about calling it a gap. Let's say, what problem are you trying to solve? What problem are you trying to solve? Because we know that people don't buy unless they fall in love or you solve a problem. So whether you're a realtor and you can bring someone, you can sell their place quickly, or bring them more money, or I don't know, sell to the right buyer. Like, what is the problem that you're trying to solve? What gap are you trying to fill, even within your industry? Maybe you are always getting the same exact question, and that's an opportunity for you to be able to solve that problem. Maybe you do network marketing, and so you're trying to solve like two problems. You're trying to maybe acquire new people to help to also sell. Maybe you're also trying to sell your products. So there's different audiences, even different gaps, even different problems that you're trying to fill. So the first thing that I want you to do, and write this down with me, is what problem can you solve? What problem can you solve, and why is it unique to you? So I know that I help my clients sell to their audience, and I help them get known and be visible and actually figure out who they're selling to, what those people want to buy from them. And I help my clients be visible at the exact moment when their customers are looking to buy, because we know that people buy from other people who they know, like, and trust, but we also know that people will buy from whoever is in front of them in the moment that they need something. So what's really important is that you make sure that you're there, that you're visible, that you are available whenever that time of need is. And oh, by the way, if they can know, like, and trust you ahead of time, then that's going to help you close that deal, or make that sale, or get that purchase. So important to figure out what is the problem that you're trying to solve? What is the problem that you're trying to solve? So for example, if I back to the network marketing, if I'm a stay-at-home mom and I want to earn some extra income, or maybe I have a corporate job and I want to earn some extra income, or maybe I want to do it full time, you need to figure out what are you trying to solve and what opportunities are there in the market. So the other thing for you to think about, what differentiates you? So what makes you different? Because anybody can hop on and say what problem they solve. And we all do. We all come on and talk about what problems we can solve and how we can help others be successful with the products that we're trying to solve. But what differentiates you? So one of the things that differentiates us, that differentiates me, is that I help my clients figure out what they don't know. I help my clients figure out what comes next. I help my clients figure out who their clients are, who the clients are that have money in their hand that are ready to buy, and how to grow and how to scale. So what's that problem that you solve, and how can you differentiate yourself? Social selling. I teach my clients how to sell on social media. Why? Because it's authentic. Authenticity on social media, it's a big deal. Because you can engage. That's the other thing, you guys. You need to engage with your audience consistently. Oh, so much to teach, so much to teach. Okay, so figure out what you're going to sell, because later on we're going to figure out how to craft that message and how to communicate it in the right voice to the right people. But what is it that you sell that makes you special and that solves the problem? So those are a couple things to consider when you're trying to come up with, okay, so I this is what I do for work, and I just need to grow my business or sell more or do more. Perfect. Let's figure out what problem you solve and why you're different, because those are the two things I think that people want to know. Why? First of all, what problem can you solve? And why you? Why should I choose you? So if you can identify those two things of the problem that you solve, and then also why someone would choose you or what differentiates you, you're going to be able to do much, much more and also communicate how you can solve problems. Because if you can communicate what differentiates you and what problems you solve, eventually you'll get to the how. So those are two things that I want you to start with. Identifying what problem you solve and what makes you different. Once you've figured that stuff out, now you can get into, okay, and you're still writing this down, right? You still have a pen and a piece of paper that you're writing, taking notes. So the next thing that you're going to have to do once you figure out who or what problem you're solving and what makes you different, well, who are you trying to communicate that to? Are you trying to communicate that to the audience that you always thought you had? Or are you trying to communicate that to a new audience? Do you know who your audience persona is? And that we're going to get into that later. But who's your audience? Because you're going to need to know what their problem is, why they should choose you, and who to communicate with. So that's something else for you to consider. Who are you speaking with? Because when you're creating content, so we're going to go into strategy and creating content, but when you're creating content, you need to be able to communicate in a way that is authentic, obviously authentic, because, well, I mean, maybe it's not obvious. Authenticity is huge, because I'll tell you, when you speak with authenticity, when people get to know you, what happens? They're going to be way more likely to trust you. And when people trust you and you solve a problem, what happens next? They want to buy from you. So figuring out all these things helps you along the road to be able to actually communicate what you have to sell and solving that problem. So when it comes back to strategy, so, oh my gosh. Okay, so first of all, I'm trying to avoid my ums right now. I feel like I'm throwing in some so's a lot more frequently. And guys, one of the things that I do, because this actually leads right into my next point about creating content when it comes to being authentic and real and all of these things that come with creating content. The way that I communicate is the most authentic way possible. My posts are authentic, my blogs are authentic, and then also my live videos are authentic, of course. And sometimes I stumble, and sometimes I stutter, and sometimes but I know that the more frequently I hop on and I be authentic and I be vulnerable, I think vulnerable is something that's that's really important to talk about, because when you can communicate authenticity, the passion of what you're trying to communicate will come across. So communicating in a way that's authentic, very, very, very important. Very important. We don't want fake, because fake, if you're speaking fake, or if the posts that you're writing are fake, maybe I can't trust you, or maybe what you're saying isn't the truth. So speaking in an authentic tone is certainly important. And there's different ways that you can obviously create content. You can create content on your own brand. You can create content on your company's brand. You can create content on different social platforms. And so there's different ways that we can create content. Certainly, going live is one of the most authentic ways to be able to communicate, because you're in a situation where there's not necessarily any scripts, right? Well, I mean, there's what do I talk about? So you have an idea, hopefully you have an idea. And I see some questions in the chat. I think I see some questions or some hellos in the chat. So hello to y'all. Good morning. And so yeah, when you are creating content, you obviously want to make sure that you're communicating in a way that's authentic. But the best way for you to create content, okay, so how do I create content? I never know what to say when I'm creating content. Easy peasy. That's like an old lady thing to say. Easy peasy? Man, I should have said Okay. So create content, answer FAQs in your content. People have questions for you. What a great idea. You can create content that is just answering people's questions. Isn't that the best way to communicate, for you to already anticipate what people might be questioning or what people might be wondering about the product or service that you have to sell? Answering FAQs, easy way to be able to communicate, or to be able to create content. You know, another thing that is easy-ish, but might be challenging, which is actually going to be homework for today. So creating content where you are pulling from your own experience with your product, your own experience with your service. Anytime that you can tell a story about how something has impacted you, how something has impacted or changed the way that you work. If you're trying to sell that exact same thing back to your audience, the best way for you to communicate that, or one of the best ways, is for you to say how it impacted you. You know, did your product or service make your life easier? Did it reduce your time doing something? Did your kids love it? Did it, put money in your pocket? So homework for today. Of course there's homework. We're going to do this. We're going to do this every day. And hopefully I'm going to see you guys here every day. And I also would love to see what other questions or what you discover from doing these exercises. Is I want you to come up with content, maybe just one post. One post is cool. We're just getting started. Where you think of a story. I mean, it could be your story. It could be a story that represents what you would like to tell your audience. But create this idea when you're creating a post for content of how this worked for you. How did it work for you? How did your product or service impact your life, your business? If I think about, okay, so if I'm talking to my leads or my clients or opportunities about a product or service that I have, So social selling, oh my gosh, how that has impacted me. Let me tell you, I can be visible. I can close deals without even having to have paid ads. So maybe I would create content that's somewhere along the lines of, wow, here's this story. I worked for however many years trying to do ads and be visible. And all of a sudden I decided that I would start going live. And that's something that has impacted me significantly. And I want to help you. So there's different ways that we can create content that communicates the message of, this is what I've done and this is how I've been successful. By the way, I get inbound leads from people asking me about my services or telling me that they want to purchase because I am going live, because I do communicate on social media. And so being able to communicate in the right way possible to the right audience at the right moment means that you're going to be able to have a much higher conversion. So my challenge for you today, and hopefully, not hopefully, I know I'm going to see y'all here tomorrow for sure. So tonight, homework. So think of, first of all, think of an FAQ or something, a problem that you can solve. Why are you different? What differentiates you? So why are you different? What differentiates you? What makes you special? Is there some gap that you solve? What's the problem that you solve? How can you help people with whatever solution, whatever problem they have? And what is a story, just a mini one, because it's going to be a post. What's a story that you can think back about how the product or service that you're selling helped you? So homework. I know, homework, but this is fun homework. This is totally fun. So I know that you're going to do amazing, and I can't wait to hear how successful you are. So tomorrow I'm going to be on here again to discuss the Hustlers Growth Academy, obviously this fabulous Launchpad, and I'm really excited for you guys to join me every day here while we get this thing launched, and can't wait to hear about what you've discovered for tomorrow, or what you've discovered today, and for tomorrow's learning. So we'll see you guys tomorrow. Thanks so much for joining me today. Bye, y'all.